Hi, I'm Lisa Butterworth, and today I'm going to show you how to take your photos that you get from a professional photographer and enhance them so that people can see your henna work a lot better. Not only enhance the photo, but it also enhance the stain and basically zoom in on what is important to us as henna artists, which is the henna design. So I showed you how to use levels and curves and also the photo filter to just make your overall picture look nicer. For the most part, when you get photos from a professional photographer, they're going to look really good, like the one here. So in the last step, I bumped up, the main thing I did was bump up the curves, use curves to bump up the contrast a little bit and give a warming filter to this, just to make it look a little bit better. So one of the things I wanted to show you is how to boost the color of the stain in the photo when you have something that's too light. So this photographer went with like a very light, gauzy look to his photos, and I want to make this part stand out. This is the henna that I did for the bride. So as I showed you before, we work a lot in the image menu here, adjustments, and then this time we're going to go into selective color. What's really nice about this is that you can adjust how a particular color looks in here. So it defaults to reds, which is perfect. Usually what I do if I want this to look darker is just drag the slider for black up a bit. Now the problem is that anything that's slightly red in this image gets really dark. So you can see up here, this is getting a little bit dark. So you don't want to push it too far. It looks a little freaky with this much black. So we can just pump it up a little bit. And always check other areas of the photo to make sure they're not looking too weird. So I'm going to add just a little bit more black. If you want to, you can change the shade of the red. Cyan will make it a little bit more like pinkish bluish reds. It also cools the overall photo off. If you want to return it back to the original settings, just click in there and make that 0. If you want to make everything browner and warmer, you can pump up the yellow. Now this is looking a little freaky, so I'm going to just return that to 0. It looked good the way it was. So again, always click preview so you can see what's going on live. All right, I'm going to click OK. So another situation that you might want to correct is when there's a lot of red in your image. So selective color is going to make everything that's red in here too dark. So let me just show you really quickly how that's going to look. So adjustments, selective color. So I have red selected. If I add black to this, it's going to make everything much darker, and it just looks freaky. Her lips, her bangles, her dress. So I'm going to cancel out of that. And what I'm going to do is actually use the magic wand tool. That's this up here. For people who like keyboard shortcuts, it's W. And I have the tolerance set to 35. And I'm basically going to select as much of her dress as I can. So I'm going to click that. It selects a bunch of red. And then to add more to the selection, you hold down the Shift key and click and click and click. And I'm just going to grab all these areas of red. Oops, too much. Just undo that. And shift, click. All right, so I've grabbed most of the red. I don't need to go crazy. I just want to get the stuff that's really apparent in this photo. Now what I need to do is select everything but the dress. So to do that, I go up here to select inverse. So now that's selecting everything in the photo except the red dress. So it's everything here. Got it? All right, so now when I go to image adjustments, selective color, and I boost up the black in the reds, it's only going to affect this here. So again, you don't want to do it too much because it's going to do some weird things to her face and it might darken up her lips a little bit too much. So just use it sparingly. And again, you can cool off the red by adding cyan and even magenta. But again, you know, just try and go for subtle. And then when you have it the way you like it, you can click OK. And then to deselect everything, you just do Command D or Select Deselect. And now we have our image, and you can see the henna stands out a little bit more because we pumped up the red. Another thing you might want to do is zoom in on your henna and get rid of all of these distractions, like this guy smelling the bride's hair. We want to just get that out of there. So we're going to use our crop tool right over here. The keyboard shortcut is C. And you can just click and drag this until you get the look that you want. And click and drag. Once you have it the way you like it, you can click the check mark up here to set it that way. You can also constrain your image so that it fits a standard size like 5:7 or 8.5:11, and it'll also switch it to portrait mode in this case. So I'm going to restrain this to the proportions for 8.5:11, and then I have it pretty much the size I want, and I'm just going to click and drag the image behind it. Actually, let me just do this. I still want to get that guy's face out of there. And now I've really honed in on the henna and her face. And now to select that crop, I just click the check mark. And now I have a nice photo that really shows my henna. This is not a very high-res photo, so it looks a little janky in there. The other thing you might want to do is correct some mistakes. Sometimes the bride may smudge something and you need to fix it. So to do that, we want to zoom in. So the keyboard shortcut for that is Z, and then I just zoom in. I happen to know there's a little mistake in here. You can see that her hand folded, and so this dot doesn't look perfect, and then some other stuff got here. So what I like to use for that is the clone stamp tool. That's this tool right here. The keyboard shortcut for that is S. And you want to have a small brush size. That's what I have here. You can change the brush size up here, and then you simply are copying some part of the image. In this case, you're basically copying a piece of skin and laying it down over this. So you option click in the spot where you want to pick it up, and then you just draw it over there. And you can see that little plus sign, which shows you where you're picking up the image from. So, and always remember to work in small areas with a small brush, because otherwise you can copy too much. So I'm just going to grab some here and then just copy it over that. That looked a little weird there. I'm just going to do it again and just copy over that. And then this one also I want to copy over that as well. And then just round this out a little bit. All right, and I could make some other adjustments here if I wanted to. Now I'm going to zoom out, so I click on Z to get my zoom tool, and then option click zooms out. And you just take a quick look after you've made some changes, really zoomed in. You want to zoom out to see how they really look. And that looks like a really nice photo. It looks like the henna design is really prominent. So that's it for this tutorial. Please let me know if you have any questions, or if you'd like me to do a tutorial on something else, some other issues that you have with your henna photos. Thanks for listening.